There's a time I wish I had been in the room, 1990, when they got it right, Norway. They discovered oil and natural gas, and instead of doing what every other nation does, spending it, they thought generationally and invested it. It changed and will continue to shape their country forever. Today, their idea is worth $1.4 trillion. Per capita, they are the richest country in the world. And now we learn from them to solve a global problem. Today, we take wind energy in new directions and apply it to one of the greatest global challenges, homelessness. Welcome to a solution, the Stingray Wind Power System. According to the United Nations in 2005, an estimated 100 million people were homeless worldwide. But as many as 1.6 billion lacked adequate housing. The second part is more adequate. I don't know all of them, of course, but I do know a lot of their stories. And it is not just about a place to live. I'll tell you about Mike later. It's about solving the requirements now and in the future. Mike is like this. But around the world, homelessness takes on a much different meaning. And this solution focuses on all of them. I do not like to talk about myself. I mean, it kind of redefines the phrase and levels of magnitude. I mean it. That being said, I started here. I worked in a place just like this. I was 19 years old, and though I had some level of ambition, I had no idea how to get from where I was to where I wanted to be. After work, there were nights that I would drive up to one of the greatest universities in the world in an old 1976 Dodge Dart, dressed in work and dirt and wonder, as I watched students step across the campus, and the question that came across was, why them and not me? Well, the years went by, and I ran into a gentleman. He changed my life. Took me by the hand, showed me how to get from A to B. Boy, talk about the heart of homelessness. They know where they're at, but they have no one to help them get from A to B. He did. I became an engineer. The campus that I used to stare at became a little bit of my home. I've accomplished a few things. I also became a writer. I wrote this book first and this one, and a few more. My latest is this one called Next, Real Stories About Energy and the Environment. It's appropriate to what you're about to see today because it's all about energy and the environment and utilizing the opportunities. One thing about being an engineer is that you can also become an inventor. The bottom three pictures there are the first of their kind in the world ever, and they're all energy related. With all due humility, I'm the 6th generation military in my family, going all the way back to World War I to serve the world, trying to keep the peace. And I've kind of received endorsement letters. But let's move on. Letters I've ever received was this nomination from the United Nations for what's called the Caterva Award. It is comparable to the Nobel Prize for Sustainability. Very, very grateful. And this is the university. University of Waterloo. I would drive up, stare at it, wonder. 220,000 alumni, 151 countries, and as you can see from that graphic, one of the absolute best universities in the world. They've been kind enough to support me in this project moving forward. I don't know these men personally, but I know many just like them. Kevin, David, Mike, Brian. There is a literal definition to the word incisive to their situation. Money. The coffee cup is not an income. Neither is welfare. Every single one of the people that I meet have the same question. How did I get here? I used to be 7 years old running through tall grass in the summer. How did I get here? And then you sit with them for a while, you talk, and you leave thinking, how do I get them from A to B? But it starts here. What they did in Norway. They found oil. They found natural gas. They invested it. Very, very smart people. And homelessness all but disappeared. It's been proven over 30 years. They started a fund. They utilized the fact that they had energy as a revenue stream, and they invested it. That's what we intend to do. Revenue, jobs, homes, food, and on. We're going to take advantage of their insights, their brilliance, and utilize wind as a similar resource. This is where it all begins. 16,000 pound racing yacht traveling at 50 miles an hour, using nothing but the power of the wind. And this is a Stingray fully deployed, taking advantage of wind pressure, 5 kilowatts of power, and or 3,000 liters of clean water. Please forgive the graphics, limited software. And if any of you in the world of computer graphics would like to contribute, by all means, please. I would truly appreciate it. It is a land sail. Instead of moving a yacht at speed, we capture the energy, we use it electrically, we create clean water from it. Communications are built in, education, internet, applications the world over, and revenue for the first time, and support for the homeless. It becomes their industry, their paycheck, homes, care, warmth, safe, peace, clean. It's a Stingray. And then I love the questions. Suppliers, service providers, the details. I like it when people start to ask these questions. Tell me about the realities. Every component on the Stingray is either CSA, UL, C, and on. Everything you can imagine. Meeting all certification requirements, safety requirements, you name it. The best of the best. And here they are. Best of the best. Stantec, DNV, Boston Gear, Baldor, ABB, PDX, Gowlings, MNP, Aslan. But let's have a look at everybody who's showing up to make sure this is just absolutely remarkable. Stanton Consulting. I've used their services for a year. World class. One of the largest and most trusted engineering firms in the world, 22,000 employees, $4.8 billion per year. Going to use them for site design, code requirements, systems integration, and a very important global consistency. ABB is one of the largest companies in the world. $28 billion a year, 105,000 employees. We'll be utilizing them for electric motors and generators. Well, as you can read, Boston Gear, with well over a century of frontline experience, recognized globally as a premier resource for extremely reliable internal and replicable gear sets. I've used them in the past, and I'm looking forward to integrating all of their gears into our system. Gear is one of Canada's largest industrial suppliers. We'll be using them for electrical conduit, wiring, and fasteners. Been using carbon fiber rods from the graphite store for years. They're a leading supplier of carbon fiber, graphite, ceramics, etc. They're a great addition to this team. Now this one's interesting. DSDI, they are world class. I don't know how to describe this. They are at the forefront in high performance custom fluid sealing and communications. You have to think of an aerial crane and wonder how the power goes from the ground up through. And that's exactly what we have here with the Stingray. We need communications and electricity to be generated, but then transferred through to the ground. And these people provide the slip rings to do that. I love their website. Industrial reality is the true challenge. These people create bearings. They do $86 billion a year, and they're part of the team. For markets, 250,000 customers, 8,000 metal types, providing stainless steel and aluminum for this project. John's Controls, $31 billion in revenue, 97,000 employees, and a friend of mine, Predrag, one of the finest engineers I've ever met. They'll be doing the controls aspect on the Stingray. This one, all I have to do is read it off the screen. 20 years experience, ultrasonic airflow, need them on the Stingray. Extensive range, already have it sourced out, looking forward to working with them as well. This is where it gets a little more difficult. Aslan are world class. I mean it. 3,000 systems worldwide, 25 countries. Best of the best, friends of mine. Homelessness is not just about the fact that you don't have some place to rest your head at the end of the night. 7,000 children die every day. Every day because they don't have proper housing or clean water to drink. 7,000. And the Stingray is going to change that. There's a couple companies you'll see here. Custom sail design, we need it specific. They understand wind pressure, dynamics, etc. It's really where the rubber hits the road. AFTCO, they supply and reflect a legacy of firsts, I'm not kidding, designed to handle the harshest environments, the coldest, the hottest, the oceans. These are some of the components that we'll be including from their catalog. I always like it when I deal with people that are in this industry. I need Delrin. It's a plastic. It is basically a plastic that is a lubricant at the same time. And we're going to use it as a bearing surface. What can I say? Gowlings WLG, international law firm built on the belief that, well, you can read it there. Serve, success. They are so important and a valued member of this entire project. And there's Myers, Norris, and Penny. I've been using them for a year. Accounting, bookkeeping, financial, brilliant, all across the country, around the world. Now, DNV literally are my favorite. Trusted voices for some of the world's most successful organizations. They use their knowledge and insights to create performance, set industry standards, and invent solutions to tackle global transformations, which is why I am so looking forward to them being part of the team. ESO is just fantastic. Everything you see here is computer graphics. I cannot wait to see what they do with the Stingray and how they apply it in the real world without us even knowing it. But this is one deployed. Farm fields, you could put them almost anywhere. 5 kilowatts, if you see the numbers out there. You have fields of these. Very simple. 1 day to install. Either electricity and or clean water and or communications. This is just a land sale. One of the things that we insisted upon was learning from generations of shipbuilders and sailors. All of our equipment here that you see takes into account all of their insights. Even in the hottest conditions, harshest conditions, we have designed for that as well. These are some of the component drawings: carbon fiber, stainless steel, aluminum. I remember presenting this to a company, Deloitte, a large room, lots of people, lawyers, etc., and financiers, and they said, wow, this is a worldwide multi-billion-dollar opportunity, and it is. If you look at that map, it's a wind power map. The red areas are the only parts of the world where wind turbines are even reasonably effective, but the Stingray is designed for the rest of the world to develop full power under low wind conditions, clean water, communications, and on everything that you see, including advertising space. It is the next generation of wind power, and we want to apply it to a homeless solution. One of the things unique about the Stingray is that it can install and become operational in 1 day. Disaster relief, onboard communications, optional fresh water. Can be used up as a backup power system for remote locations. Military peacekeeping. Onboard communications, very important. Most of these very difficult situations in the world, they do not have communications. There's no cell, there's no radio, there's no internet, nothing. But the Stingray becomes a central hub. One thing that we absolutely appreciate is all the work that has gone into solar and current wind power systems, and we will utilize the exact same power integration strategies that they have used before. Irrigation is life for these people, gold for these people. Agriculture changes immediately, and we're going to be a very big part of helping them achieve their goals. Of course, jobs. Wonderful thing about the Stingray is it is global. We need manufacturing, we need installation, we need engineering, and on it goes. Jobs all around the world, not only for the homeless, but all of the providers downstream. This allows lights in a home instead of under streetlights, because they all dream. And more importantly, they do every night. There is no segue to the advertising component of this, and yet it is a valuable necessity that we all need to recognize and welcome as part of what we're trying to achieve. Sometimes people ask me, where do ideas come from? And all I can say is that if they asked the 21 different suppliers on this project, you get 21 different answers. And for me, literally is back to the napkin. If we ever meet, just ask me where it started from. Ultimately, it comes down to the Stingray provides a revenue stream extremely unique. $180 billion in terms of market value and sales alone over the next 20 years. And that is like low-balling it. But I'll run this by you just for a second. Sales per unit, installation profit, engineering, commissioning profits, advertising profits, huge. Service agreements, recommissioning studies, electrical production, agricultural government incentives, irrigation, and on, water production and military contracts, FEMA, emergency relief, replacement of components over time, energy incentives, carbon credits, increased land valuation, franchise fees, both initially and annually, royalties in perpetuity, manufacturing jobs, increased production of component parts, and corporate and personal taxes. So all the homeless get to take advantage of not only those revenue streams, but also those job opportunities. The other side is, on a bigger scale, the world came together, United Nations, and they set some goals, and this is how the Stingray addresses those. Affordable clean energy, yes. Climate action, yes. Reduction of worldwide poverty, reduction of food deprivation, energy for education, clean water and sanitation, job creation, economic growth, political resource solutions, increased tax base, international solutions, and infrastructure, industry innovation, academic partnerships, sustainable cities, and energy everywhere. It does not get any better than this. The environment is an extremely fertile opportunity for the world today. You think about it. There were firsts. There was cars and telephones and compasses and musical instruments and on. We're good at this. These and millions more have shown us that we are all capable of changing the world globally at an incredible pace. And every one of these are more complicated than the Stingray. There is so much expression of human abilities. And we've done it for thousands of years. And we're going to do it again. Energy and water are languages. It's a constant form of communication. This is a Stingray, fully unfurled. 5 kilowatts and or 3,000 liters of fresh water. These are the prototype drawings. This is a central mast. The sail has come back to rest. Either the wind conditions are far too harsh or there's simply no wind. But a very intelligent design in terms of the computer will let us know when it's time for its release once again. This is a Stingray. The sail is completely unfurled. The tail there is very much like a bird to keep it balanced. Here's the base, a hydraulic version for use sort of in standard conditions. As you'll see in the next slide, there's a completely mechanical version utilized in extreme weather conditions. This is an all-mechanical version, stainless steel components for extreme weather conditions. This is the base, all stainless steel construction. They dig a hole and they backfill it with concrete, and it'll last as long as the stainless steel does. One of the most unique aspects of the Stingray is that it has its own built-in power and water monitoring systems, remote maintenance and service alarms, onboard security camera. You can log into the website, monitor the network. And one more time. It's different than a turbine. We use the constant pressure of wind to generate electricity. Comes back quite quickly. Changes direction with the wind. It'll just keep doing that. It's a very, very simple system, and it's something that I believe can bring revenue, opportunity, jobs, solutions to the homeless. We end where we began, Norway. They got it right. They found oil and natural gas and invested in it and into their situation. $1.4 trillion as a result. I want you to think of the Stingray as oil rigs. Each one of them produces about 25 barrels of oil equivalent per year. The fund will grow, and while it does, it will serve until it by far exceeds need. I'll leave you with a couple thoughts. This is a rock from Mike. Mike's gone now. I know you can't see it well, but he would sell rocks and he would decorate them like baseballs. And he would put a sign out. It would be $1 for a baseball. Him and I became very good friends. They give you things. This is from Kevin. It is what's his favorite car here? 1972 Ford Ranchero. They give you things. All I'm trying to do is to give these people safe, warm jobs, comfort, appreciation, because we can. It's here now. All these great organizations want to help. And there's a question going through everybody's head is, if all of these multi-billion-dollar companies are on board, why don't they just cut a check? It doesn't work that way. Every one of those companies have what I call swinging to Friday. They have goals to meet, deadlines. The only thing that makes them change their focus is a little bit of money in the right direction. And then they will take that and multiply it by a factor of 100. And that's really what it's about. It's not about the money. It's about giving them a chance to win and a reason to. And the only way to do that is to show up with a purchase order and a great idea. I truly hope that you'll say yes to this so that they will say yes to us. That's how it works. Thank you for listening. I cannot tell you the millions and millions of lives that this will change in short order, but generationally, this changes everything. You take care.